everybody. We just saw a distributed presentation. Great stuff, guys. So I'm going to talk to you about one example that's used. We're exploring the asset management industry in blockchain. But just a quick intro on what we do. So Proximus is basically proposing blockchain as a service. It does blockchain APIs and also blockchain models and cloud engines. We're part of Proximus, so we work on different initiatives. We publish articles, we organize hackathons. We're very ingrained in the ecosystem. And our vision on blockchain is actually that we need to work in different blockchains. So I hear people tell me, oh, I'm going to solve every problem using Ethereum. Well, we believe that actually first you look at the race you're going to race. Then if it's a Paris-Dakar, you're going to take a throwaway car, right? If you have another race, you'll take another car. So that's our vision on this. What we're going to show you, I'm going to picture it and then we're going to do it. We're going to show you a huge problem in the fund industry, actually. But it's not only in the fund industry. It's once you transact assets, actually you need to reconcile, right? And basically, because not everything matches on chains, unlike people think. And today, this is done manually. I went in a room. I saw somebody sitting in front of two screens, looking at two Excel spreadsheets in a major bank. And every time there's some mistake, there's a mistake, they started writing an email to a counterparty saying, you're wrong. Right? 90% of the times, they will write, you're wrong, right? So it creates a lot of friction, a lot of cost, a lot of inefficiencies. I mean, there are like, tens of thousands of funds and people doing that every day. And I can tell you, it's not a passionating job and it's very ineffective, right? So it's a huge pain point. Manual, recurring friction. And by the way, a lot of people tell me, well, actually, I like to work on the real problems we have. I have no time to do that because I work on this stuff, right? So we think we want to go in this world where people talk to each other bilaterally. So in the fund world, there are no names, but there's the asset manager will talk to the fund accountant, who will talk to the depository, will talk to depository number 2, will talk to the custodian, will talk to the fund admin, and they all will reconcile with each other. It's very similar to your case. In a certain sense, people look at KYC data and they do it singly and they could reconcile bilaterally with each other. Why not go on a chain? This is our vision of the world. Why don't we start collaborating? Why don't we start doing something once and then we start sharing it, right? So in the fund world, what it would look like, we can basically upload any type of data, any format, all in different chains. On a given chain, it will be a private and permission chain, not a public chain necessarily because of data secrecy and all that stuff. And basically what will happen, we have 4 different scenarios. One is we have a consensus between the actors. Everybody agrees and the transaction goes through. And it goes through at a speed, we're talking seconds, right? Extremely efficient. That's for one scenario. The second scenario we have an evident break. There are breaks there. Basically, there's a fund with 1,000 assets, equity fund, and somebody somewhere typed IBN in there. I'm going to show it to you. Something very simple. Well, we say simple breaks should be resolved by a smart contract, not by human beings, on a pre-agreed basis. We'll get to this. And then the second scenario is what we call a simple break after an evident break. This is a break where AI can actually propose a solution. We'll see that in a simplified manner. Then we will show you basically a complex break where people still need to talk, right? And once you're done doing this, the great thing with the system is if your whole organization is not on a chain, they can actually extract the data, right? Take it into which system and which format they want to basically do the reporting, whatever they need to do with it, right? And as alluded to, a regulator can see it. So I'll switch now and go live basically on chain. So actually I have helpers here. One helper is Bob, that's his name on chain. And the other helper actually sits in Luxembourg. His name is, well, her name is Alice, but she does not shave her legs. So I have two items here. This is our pocket. This is a blockchain reader. So I'm going to have to work a little bit on this. All right. So I'm just going to log on. Let me see. And I'm actually Joe. So, all right. So imagine I'm working for fund admin, for example. So the chain is just uploading right now. We're all getting ready. So are you logged on? Yeah. So I don't know if Alice logged on. Yep. Okay. I hear Alice telling me she's logged on. Again, she had the problems with her voice, so if you hear her. So basically, we will just all upload a file. And we chose this format. But again, it could be a different chain, it could be anything. And it's a very simplified version of basically a portfolio with assets in it, right? And I'll basically look at my trades, okay? That's maybe too much. Let's make it a bit bigger, okay? Now, what is interesting is we see IBM is a bit different from the others, right? It's flagged. So if I look at the IBM's history, it showed something happened. And this is the case I talked to you about. Somebody has put IBM in the system. Everything else is actually correct. Now, should I have human beings interacting over this? What you can do is you create a smart contract, and this is soft-coded, right? You can create it however you want, and basically say, okay, a transaction up to amount to 1 million. If the only thing wrong is actually this typo here, the smart contract will autocorrect. It'll be flagged, it'll be on the chain, so a regulator can come in, or an auditor basically can audit this thing, right? But there are tons, hundreds of hours which are going to be saved of manual work that won't add any value with this thing, right? So that's done. I can see that. Now let's look at the interesting stuff. Okay, there are discrepant trades. Well, that's not a surprise, right? There are always discrepant trades in life, okay? So why don't we look at the first discrepant trade that comes up alphabetically, and I'll just look at the details. Now, the interesting thing here is it's not bilateral. I see everybody that's on this chain. So I see Alice and I see Bob, basically. It could be 20 people. They're all working on the same trade, on the same file. It could be a contract, by the way. It doesn't need to be a trade. This can be applied to other stuff, right? I see the difference here. And, well, obviously, you know, it doesn't seem to take rocket science. But what we did there is basically we added an AI tool that propose a resolution. Now, again, this is a very simple scenario we're taking, but just to illustrate it. The AI tool, what it will do, will propose resolutions to you that are logic, and depending on whether you accept them or not, it will propose more of these resolutions, right? And if you don't take their supply or whatever, it will take less. It will propose a bit less. So what I will simply do, basically, I'll say, okay, I will save this and go ahead like this. And you see my discrepant trade has gone away, right? Because I agreed to the right number. Now, interesting enough, what I want to show you, it's here, Apple, and I have actually, this is a blockchain reader. I won't go into details, but actually that traces the whole history. This will show what I did, right? I cannot come back afterwards and say, oh, I didn't actually really agree to you guys. I didn't want to agree to this. It's on chain. And just to show you how live this is, actually, this is a blockchain reader. So on this, basically we used Hyperledger Fabric, right? We could have used a different one. We think it's fairly effective. These are basically the hashes. So this is a hash, absolutely. If you have a sleepless night, if you're a geek, you love reading this stuff, right? But actually, this is why we built this blockchain reader to make it much easier to trace. So you know what's going on there, right? So what you've just seen is basically running live between us, right? Okay, so let's go back to the discrepant trades. Now we've got another one here that has some issues, right? I'll look at the details. I see, yep, there's something wrong there, right? Okay. So actually, the two people were wrong, but you know what I'll do? I mean, I will simply say, okay, I'll simply take this suggestion by the AI, save it, and maybe Alice wants also to take the suggestion that's there. I don't know, Alice moved something. So everybody can see I moved. I know, Alice, have you moved? Sorry? You're above. No, I'm talking to Alice right now. I hope that Alice hears me. All right. Alice obviously on the phone. Hey, Alice? Do you want to play ball with us? Hey, Alice, do you hear me? Well. Alice. Yeah. Alice, do you want to work on Walt Disney? Oh, he doesn't hear me. All right. Alice, do you want to work on Walt Disney? Okay, please do. I told you she had a strange voice. She's doing something now. Okay? Yeah, exactly. So now what's interesting, if I look at the details, actually everything is all right, but still the system is wrong. Well, actually we agreed on the wrong number. So what the system does, it's not enough to agree on a number or to agree on anything in life. If it's wrong, the system should detect it and tell you, well, it's actually wrong, right? So actually we just trusted one number. We thought that Bob was smart, but he's not that smart. He gave us the wrong number. Sorry, no offense. So actually what I'm going to do, I'm going to go back to my wrong number and choose that one that the AI actually suggested initially and save it. And if Bob and Alice want to play ball with the same thing, please feel welcome. So Bob has, sorry? Bob is the line. You know what? I didn't choose the right number. Sorry. Here we go. I need to save this. All right. And here we go. The transaction's gone through, right? So these are kind of, you know, very simple breaks in a certain sense. But things could be a bit more complex in life. I look at Cisco now. I look at details. And you know, okay, obviously there's a mistake, but actually we could say there's a mistake in the price. And these are more complex mistakes. You could have taken price in the market, different time of the day, whatever. So I will actually, there are situations where you cannot only work on-chain. Let's be realistic, right? There's some stuff you need to do off-chain. So Joe, will basically say, okay, actually the right price is 321. All right? And I'll save that. Now, obviously, I got smarter. I know that with that price not go through because I'm changing it. So I see they already. So the others can see that I actually changed the price, and they can now agree or not to it. I would suggest you do. It makes life really nicer, and that way we could have a drink. And obviously, I also need to change that number. It could be automatic. It's just that because we want to illustrate this, right? So they all agreed on part of it. Now you guys need to change basically also the position value. Again, in real life, we will make an automatic change. It's just to illustrate that the system detects mistakes, right? Okay, and it's gone. And again, when I go on the blockchain reader, you will see that blocks have been added as we proceed, basically. Again, you don't want to read this, but it's near instantaneous. And I look at Cisco, now the right trade is there, and I have this whole history basically that I can look at who did what, right? So this was first to show you a blockchain that actually runs live, right? How it works, how it operates. It shows you also a lot about like how the work environment we're in are going to change. It's going to change. It's going to become far more collaborative. We're going to collaborate. Instead of working only with Bob or only with Alice, we're all going to work together. But we want to go together in a traceable manner, right? We're going to agree in a manner so we could show to an auditor and anybody else that there's a traceable trail to what we did. We're going to work with intelligent system that's actually going to trace also what the AI has proposed. The interesting thing is, you heard about this car accident that happened with a Tesla, right, on Roessig in California. The issue is you need blockchain to trace what the AI did, and that's what's going to happen also on these systems. So you're going to basically reduce the manual work of your people by over 50%, become far more productive, far more collaborative, and your people are actually going to be able to focus on the real stuff in life, improve processes and stuff like that. Thank you.
Thank you, Frank. Thank you.